Welcome to round 8 of the Sprunk Xtreme 1 Cup, presented to you in the Hotring Circuit Race downtown, provided by Rockstar Games, obviously, because they're a good company. So tonight, we are having an exciting race. The points leaders right now is Juxry leading by a measly, 5 points. RPM in second place. AgentRanger is in third. Vertical Axe following up, who did not make it tonight, in Death Perception in fifth with 30. So it's going to be heated, and it's going to be point oriented. So this is really just anybody's race right now. And I don't know who's going to win. The other thing is tonight, usually we have a slipstream factor. Tonight, since we're playing the downtown race, we have dash pads. See the little dash pad? So that's your boost for tonight, and that's all you're getting. So racers are really going to have to figure out what they want to do, how they want to roll, how they want to race. Racing in the center is just a generalized given for this track. And Emerald, as you can see, is already pulled out with Will McD behind him. It's kind of a flip-flop thing going on. And we'll see how it works out in the long run. Things are a little bit tighter with the way this race is going. But they're going to probably stick together pretty well, because everybody's going to want that little pad there. So how are they going to single file it into it, or are they going to fight their way through it? It's a great question. The dash pads alone make a very interesting thing. I really like how Rockstar did this race. It's a generalized step away from what we're used to seeing when it comes to stunt races, just because it doesn't have any loops, it doesn't have any flips, it doesn't have any stuff. It's a pretty straightforward race, which is, I think, perfect for this style of racing and this style of track. It looks like people have gotten pretty much in a single file formation here, which is good. For some people, I would like to see a little bit more dashing, and I think we're going to add the slipstream back for next week, just because it does add a little bit of excitement when it comes to passing. And people have to figure out how they're going to step into the turns or step into their areas. You can't just be faster and call it a day. You have to be able to race competitively and set your times with the slipstream on. Death Perception with the new personal best. Everybody taking their single file as RPM goes to the outside of Will McD. Again, there's a points guys that are running for points right there in third and fifth respectively. So as they pass the finish line on the second time around, we'll take another look and see how those laps go. Death Perception giving a little bit up and close and personal to our current leader, RPM, or points leader, that is. But Emerald up there taking his pace. If you watch the Fucar race, he had a problem with vehicle selection for the last couple of times. Well, he's made a correction with that by actually just selling the car that was causing him problems. And now he's just driving away with this one. So this Friday, when you see the Fucar race, let us know what you think. It's just a hoot to cover. RPM again taking the outside. Juxry, here's a big points competition going on right there, as they single file it through that pass again. Death Perception up in there, just ringing it out. Emerald's got a big comfortable lead there with Will McD right behind him. Death Perception, Juxry has taken over the position from RPM. So we're going to look at the lap times here real quick. Emerald with a solid first place lead. Everybody's got a 107. We're literally within rings of it. Will McD doesn't have the top speed there. The 4.68 from Death Perception and the 4.9 from Juxry. We're talking quick times here, but RPM is going to have some problems come the long run. We'll see how that translates over, as we see Juxry's already moved ahead, and we're talking thousands of seconds here. Thousands of a second here, and it looks like things are going to be really exciting. or for a single file perception. Geezer back here having problems with this car. We've seen him have problems before, and it's very unusual for that. Sometimes I wonder about connectivity and you know how that all plays a role into your generalized speed when it comes to GTA. And that's, I mean, we're seeing that here. This is a great example of why we add things like Slipstream, and why I understand why Rockstar does catch up, because there comes a little bit of a digital adjuster to the whole thing. And when it comes to the role play style, it's basically like, my car's not set up right. And you've ever seen any kind of big racing, there's always those times when somebody says, hey, I just don't have the right setup for the race. And that's what we're running into there. Solid speeds coming into here. Pretty much a commonality. Again, I definitely want to see Slipstream for next week, because this would be a lot more of a thunderous, like, who's going to take what kind of race going on right now if that was in it. But for now, Emerald just needs to make sure that he drives a clean race and gets around the track clean, and he'll be doing well. RPM and Juxry banging in. There's two guys that really do not want to be up close and personal to each other. But RPM has a lot that he wants to get from this race. Well, we're going to spend the whole race on RPM, which is fine with me. We got a good view from back here from where he's at. Take a look again. So, Geezer, there's Agent behind it at 107.635. But he must have... did he miss it? It looks like he missed the dash for that lap, for that turn. That's going to... Yeah, and then we see some distance. Will McD spinning. He's lost a couple of positions there. Juxry takes the inside line. Will McD straightens it back up. And there's Geezer. I don't even see Agent. I see him way back in there. I see the blip, but I don't see where he's at. I'm wondering if he had any problems. I'm going to take that as a... Oh, well, RPM is trying to come through there, but he's getting a lot of Will D in his driver's mirror, his window, trying to edge his way through. A little bit of nudging and tapping. Might want to drive clean, RPM. Juxry's up there banging around with depth perception. And he single file up as Geezer takes in. Looks like Geezer has made some little bit of moves here. Let's see. Oh, we got a depth perception with a new top lash 107.421. 434 from Emerald. Not the fastest right now. Depth perception move up with the 469, RPM with the 532. Still having problems with it's definitely faster than Will McD with the 606. Geezer with the 107.451. Definitely making some strides to move up. So we may see some changes here. With 10 laps to do it in. But Will McD could kind of do a little blocking. Emerald is, as they fight in the back, obviously they're going to have some issues with facing off up, some of the guys up front. Emerald can just walk away if any kind of fight happens between, obviously the second and third and the third and fourth positions. Agent obviously isn't a threat for some reason, and Geezer is making strides, but it's going to be questionable whether he can make the distance. We will see. These, if you haven't ridden with these, and you wonder why we aren't using custom race, we always like to advertise custom races and give people custom races. The problem is that they're limited to 7, and also the social club, due to, I'm guessing, the free weekend that they had, anybody could play the online version of Xbox for multiplayer. Overloaded, I guess, social club. So when we went in and tried to load, Geezer hitting the wall, that took him out. So when they did the social club part of it, they had problems. So we weren't even able to load any custom tracks for any races tonight for my side of it. So we had somebody doing secondary load some races. So we will get to some other cool races during the week that are loaded races. But when it comes to this, limited to 7 laps is one thing that's been killing us when it comes to Sprunk Xtreme. And then added on top of the idea that some of the custom races won't load has made this event, or this week at least, coming up here to been a really kind of a tough week to roll with it. Emerald solidifying his lead. It looks like he's going to finish up the race with that big finish right there. And that's how we're going to end it out. RPM, it looks like RPM is going to still have some problems moving back up to his position and taking over the point standings as we finish up today. So that's how we're going to end it. Emerald, Juxry, Death Perception. Juxry getting the best lap today. Will McD in 4th position. RPM in 5th. AgentRanger, and then Geezer kind of parking it out for the end of the day. So, and then we're going to move over to further races for the end of the week. We got 2 races left, guys. We'll see you then. Thanks for seeing us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.